You have issues. Something's wrong with you. You may be a sociopath. She called her mother a sociopath. Well, I think she birthed one. You don't know right from wrong, Marla. And that's why she choked her out. Well deserved to me. It was very much so well deserved.
I've been thinking about you, yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome to All Things Baddie. My name is Adiola, but people call me Addie for short. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction / first impressions to the movie I Care a Lot on Netflix. Now listen, I don't even know where to start, but I have my notes, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing because we have a lot to talk about. But let me just preface this conversation by saying if you haven't watched the movie yet, spoiler alert. Because the only way I can do a reaction and a review on the movie is if I talk about it. So some details from the movie is obviously going to be discussed. So sorry if this video is not for you, but spoiler alert. Don't say I didn't tell you now. All right, now let's get right into it. So the movie starts off with this monologue, and the monologue is Marla. Marla Peterson is the main character, and she is the caregiver / legal guardian. Marla is the scammer, okay? Joanne the scammer in the flesh, honey, in the flesh. This whole movie is based on whether or not you are the prey or the predator, and she basically talks about what is good, what is bad, and how people think that they're really good or that they're a good person when in reality they really aren't, which I don't necessarily disagree about, but I feel like she thinks this way just so she can console her mind about her wrongdoings, basically. And there was a lot of wrongdoings throughout this movie, or it applies to her, but she was projecting. So when she was saying that people think they're good but they're really not, that applies to her. You think you're good but you're really not. It just felt like, to me, that was her inner conscience speaking very loudly, but it did set the foundation to the rest of the movie for sure. So the first scene, I'm gonna talk about the first scene because it's very important, because it comes full circle towards the end. A man named Mr. Feldstorm goes to see his mom, but automatically the security tackles him and it becomes this big commotion where a lot of other staff members have to come and restrain him, and then we end up in court with him and Marla. And basically what we come to find out is that Marla is her caretaker / legal guardian, her being Mr. Feldstorm's mother. The court ruled under the guidance of her doctor that she needs a legal guardian, so the court appointed one to her. When they can no longer take proper care of themselves, that's where the legal guardian basically takes over, because that elderly person is now a ward of the state. The crazy part about this movie is that the court is able to basically go along with the proceedings without the individual that they're proceeding about. So Marla, the legal guardian, has put in place a lot of restrictions where he or nobody else can go to see the mother, Mrs. Feldstorm. Now the reason why she does this, which comes out later on in the movie, is because she's scamming. She has a whole system with different moving parts, different people within different institutions helping her scam people who are vulnerable. This is where one of the theme pops out to me: interlocking systems of oppression / institutionalized oppression. The fact that we have Sam, who worked as the head of the care facility, as well as this doctor, as well as this judge, and then her being the actual caregiver / legal guardian, all of these different people who worked in these different institutions, from the state to medicine to this private institution being the care facility, all these people had a role in oppressing this marginalized and vulnerable population, the elderly community that doesn't have people looking after them constantly, people who are keeping tabs on them, so things like that didn't occur. She took advantage of basically that blind spot, the fact that people oftentimes don't really pay much attention to those who are older. They don't really visit them or check up on them. They don't take care of them. All of those things she used to her advantage, especially when she was in court, and all of those parties willingly helped because they were corrupt as well. The doctor ends up getting some stock in this company that she wanted. Sam from the care facility ends up getting $2K for the room, which was a very high bid. Everyone's getting some funds, something out of this situation at expense to, again, this very vulnerable community. And I think that was supposed to basically speak to what's currently happening within our culture, within our society, in America, of course, because I live in America. So in the American society, this is something that occurs often. I think that's why they added that in there, because it's very realistic. A lot of times different institutions do conspire against marginalized communities. So basically the doctor, the fraudulent doctor, the unethical and immoral doctor writes up, bigs up the negative symptoms that the elderly person has so that they can seem like they are not able to take care of themselves. So the state then takes them in as a ward of the state and has to then assign a caregiver slash legal guardian, which is Marla. But Marla basically manipulates the situation by having the doctor basically lie and make the elderly person seem like they have more issues than they actually have, or take the issues that they have and make it seem like a bigger situation than what it is. So she puts on this whole show. And when I say a show, Marla is manipulative, very narcissistic. There's a lot of issues with Marla, but we're gonna get into that later on in this review. Nonetheless, Marla puts on a show in the courthouse. When I tell you, giving drama, really laying it on thick, just doing the most. And it's almost disrespectful, but you have to kind of just admire the fact that she even has that type of skill. But anyway, she basically puts on a show in the court and says, I care so much. I do all of this work to assist them. Yes, I sold all of her assets and her home and all of these different things, but I had to take care of her. I had to do all of these things to take care of her because I care a lot. Girl, what a lie. What a lie. And we see through it, and Mr. Feldstorm saw through it, but apparently the judge doesn't see it. The judge is also a part of the systemic situation that she has going on, even though it seems like he's unaware of it. And I think it's because, one, there's other people supporting it who are in prestigious occupations like this doctor, and then the fact that she keeps getting emotional about her job and making it seem like she has their best interests at heart when she really does not. So after the court appearance, she meets up with this girl with black curly hair. Later on in the film, we find out that her name is Frances. Frances works with Marla, but she's also her girlfriend slash lover. Mr. Feldstorm goes outside and he's mad. He's calling her out her name. He's just going in on her. This is what she says to him when he basically verbally attacks her and then physically assaults her by spitting on her. Basically, she says, does it bother you because I'm a woman? Does it bother you that you got beat by somebody with a vagina? That's what she said to this man. Having a male genitalia, I'm not gonna say the word, doesn't automatically make you scary to me. She says that throughout the movie, like, I'm not afraid, I'm not scared. And I wonder if that's her way of self-soothing. I mean, it appears like she wasn't scared because she continued to do every single thing that was just not in her best interest because she just didn't care. Like, it seemed like she did not care to die. Sis was going through the movie like YOLO. But anyway, back to the theme. It seems like they wanted to bring up male privilege within the movie because there was different aspects where they kept bringing attention to the fact that there was a certain power dynamic between the male and the woman. Another scene where that came up was when she was having a discussion with the lawyer that was coming from the Russian mob. He kept calling the doctor him, the she doctor, which I thought was super weird. Like, sir, it is not that difficult. Have you never seen a woman who's a doctor? Seriously. Come on now, get it together. He made it seem like he just could not understand and grasp the fact that doctors can be female. Doctors can be women. This is what she says to Frances when Frances basically tells her, like, listen, this is getting out of hand. This seems to be a bigger situation than we thought it was. We thought that she was a cherry, which basically is one of the best candidates that they can have. They don't have any family, no one to track them, a whole lot of money. Just a lot of different boxes are checked off that makes her a really good candidate to scam, basically. That's a cherry. She has 70 people, I counted it, 70 elderly people in her care. One of them died, so then she went to her doctor to find another person to replace the man who passed away. She tries to get this cherry. Come to find out, this cherry, whose name is Jennifer Peterson. Jennifer Peterson is not Jennifer Peterson, and we don't find this out until later on in the movie. Come to find out, Mrs. Peterson is actually the mother of a mobster who lied about his death and basically stole an identity of a dead little girl so that his mother cannot get any of the backlash of any of his dealings in the mob. So when Frances finds out about the fact that Mrs. Peterson has ties to the Russian mob, she's like, we need to get out because you have been threatened by the lawyer that came to the office representing the son of Mrs. Peterson, the fake Mrs. Peterson. And Marla says this to Frances: you know how many times I've been threatened by a man? Thousands. You know how many ever amounted to anything? You can't convince a woman to do what you want. You call her a bitch and threaten to kill her. I'm not scared of him. This is what she says to Frances. Now again, that ties into the theme of male privilege. She's talking about her experience as a woman and how men constantly just feel like they could throw their weight around, threaten you, try to kill you, call you out your name when things don't go their way, which is reality. This really does happen. It seems like Marla is constantly trying to prove herself, prove that she isn't scared, prove that she can hang with the big dogs, prove that just because she's a woman does not mean that she cannot do the same things and that she can't handle herself. So Marla finds out that she has this safe at a bank. This part was a little bit unrealistic to me because she just goes up to the bank person in the front and says, does this key fit to any of the boxes? I thought that was weird because in reality, nobody would let that just go. You can't just, does this key fit any box, and then them take you to a box. How do we know that you didn't steal the key? How do we know that the key belongs to you? You have no identification. All you have is a key, and they just let her open the box. But I guess that's neither here or there. She goes in the box and she sees that there are diamonds, but the diamonds aren't insured. Those diamonds did not belong to Mrs. Peterson. It belonged to the mob member, and his name is Roman. Roman sends Alexi to figure out what's going on and to basically fix it. So since Alexi wasn't able to help, the son gets very mad and basically puts out a hit on the doctor, so the doctor ends up dying. Now this doesn't stop Marla from continuing. She just keeps pushing forward because Marla doesn't care. Marla is about that money, honey. When Alexi went to go get Mrs. Peterson, he had to go in there guns blazing. So some people got shot. It was a whole commotion. This is before the doctor ends up dying. So that happens. Then the doctor passes, and then she goes to see Mrs. Peterson to figure out who she is, basically, and tells her, you're not playing fair. This is not how this is supposed to go. People are not supposed to die. You're not supposed to be bringing guns to a care facility. If you want to beat me, you're supposed to beat me in court. Seeing how you forced her to be in this situation, you can't tell her how to react or what to do. You don't have the right to do that. She didn't even ask to be in this situation. Marla tries to talk to Mrs. Peterson, but Mrs. Peterson isn't going to give her any tea. Mrs. Peterson is not going to tell her who she is. Who are you? You got me in here drugged up. You got these people treating me wrong, and you want me to tell you who I am? You want me to give you information for free just because you feel like I'm supposed to? Are you dumb? Are you dumb or are you stupid? I was with her on that. Like, why would I tell you anything? What is it in it for me to tell you what you want to know? What? It's like, girl, you done kidnapped me, and you want to tell me that I can't try to save myself and do all this stuff? Y'all shouldn't have tried to kidnap me. Y'all shouldn't have tried to milk me. Don't tell me what to do. You think that you're moral? You're trying to have a moral compass right now talking about what is wrong. You don't know right from wrong, Marla. Girl, sit down. I was like, chill. You're doing way too much for me, okay? You're very manipulative. And that's why she choked her out. Well deserved to me. It was very much so well deserved. If you're gonna talk mess, you need to be on alert. Period. What are you doing? She's on the phone with Frances, and they're basically about to dip. They forgot the passports at home, so Frances is going back home to get the passports, and Marla is basically on her way back home. Frances goes home to get the passport, and then two men break into the house and beat the living mess out of her, okay? Just really beat her up bad. So the person who kills the doctor ends up shooting Marla with a dart and puts her in her own trunk, drives her to see Mrs. Peterson's son, who was a part of the Russian mob, Roman. She asks for $10 million. Like, girl, you're about to die and you're trying to extort him? It was beyond me, truly. I was like, this girl is crazy. Marla the hypocrite says, play fair and know when you get beat. But this is the same woman who doesn't want to play fair in the world. This is the same woman who wants to use money to basically bulldoze people and make them do what she wants. She wants to use money to bludgeon people like rich people do. That's what she says. So how is that fair? But you want people to play fair with you. Marla the hypocrite. Marla the hypocrite scammer. We're just gonna add to the list of names for you. Child, she was a mess. She was a mess. It really is because she's a narcissist. She just wants people to play the game that she wants to play. But that's not how the real world works, honey. People are gonna play the game according to how they feel and what they want to do, what's fair to them. They're not gonna play according to your rules. That's not how it works. People do what they want, just like you're doing what you want. He wasn't messing with it, so he tells his people, go ahead and kill her and make it look look organic, okay? Don't make it look like we did it. So they put something up her nose, then they put a bottle in the car to make it seem like she was drunk driving, and they sent her over this cliff. She wakes up before she hits this body of water, which I felt was very unrealistic. Like, it really wasn't much time between them doing that to her and her crashing. So did they not use enough of that thing that they put in her nose? Like, why did she wake up so quickly? I guess they wanted to save her because the movie would have been done too quickly, but I feel like that was unrealistic. Like, I do want to mention the fact that she ends up losing a tooth in this, and then she puts her tooth in this milk. Why did it look like she drank more than half of the milk with her tooth in it? With her tooth in it. I know it came from her mouth, but why would you put it in there? I'm guessing to preserve it, and then drink the milk. Ew. I don't know. That was disgusting to me. I just had to mention that because when I saw that, I was like, did she really drink that milk? So when she goes back to the house with her tooth in the milk, she sees that Frances is on the floor badly beaten, but thank God she's alive, and she turns off their gas because apparently they turned the gas on because they're trying to light the house up. The house ends up blowing up as they're driving away, which I felt was also unrealistic. How is it that they drive away and now the house wants to blow up? How convenient. How convenient. So she wants to get back at them. She's trying to concoct a plan to basically get what she wants out of the situation, get rid of Roman, aka the Russian mobster. This part was also unrealistic to me because let me just tell y'all. So Marla has Frances look up the license plate to the car that she saw when they kidnapped her and brought her to this lot. When they find the address to the car, Marla goes, she gets into the garage because the garage door just happens to be open, which I thought was weird. You work for the Russian mob and you just have your garage door open? Okay, whatever. The garage door opens, he doesn't see her, and she just rolls under it and goes to the car and tells Frances, it's the driver, go ahead and tell him so we can figure out where Roman is. So they tell the driver all the way to Roman's location. Now that was really unrealistic to me because how did the driver not see her? I mean, the car was practically right behind him and they were the only ones on the road. So that far distance, and you, someone again, who works for the Russian mobster, didn't notice? That just didn't make any sense to me. That wasn't realistic to me. Let me know what y'all think, but I thought that was weird. If I see a car behind me for a couple minutes, I notice, and I'm a regular person. So how do you not notice? Especially on a narrow one-way street. There's only 2 cars on the street and it followed you all the way there and you didn't notice? You need to get fired. You need to get fired. Marla puts on a wig and some makeup and she goes into the place, sneaks into this door, tases the driver. So when Roman comes down with one of his other security guards, Roman gets in the car, but he's looking for his driver, which he doesn't see. She sticks him in the leg with the needle, and then she handles the security guard. I also thought it was unrealistic that he only had 2 people around him. How are you a Russian mobster, Roman, and you only have a driver and security? Just 2 people. That doesn't even make sense to me. You have all of these millions, all of these diamonds and things like that, and you only have 2 people. I know some of them died when that whole commotion happened at the care facility, but you're a part of the mob. I don't understand. That was very weird to me and unrealistic as well. She meets up with Frances, gives her the guns, they go into the forest, strip him naked, they give him something else too, and then they leave him there. In the morning, a runner finds him on the ground. He's rushed to the hospital and he's basically admitted as a John Doe because they don't know who he is. No one's supposed to know he exists, so he's in the hospital as a John Doe because he has no identification. Who is this man? Since he has no identification and because of the way that he was found, he was admitted as a ward of the state. So y'all know what that means. He gets a legal guardian and his legal guardian ends up being Marla. She basically went up to him. She won. Now a lot of unrealistic things had to occur for her to win. I honestly don't feel like she won fairly. I think the movie set it up in a way for her to win, but nonetheless, she won. So she basically says, pay me my 10 million and this will all be done. And he's like, okay, I could pay you the 10 million, but you're not scared that I'm going to kill you. And she's like, no, I'm not. Just pay it and this will end it all because I could easily kill you. And he says, okay, I can pay you the 10 million, or we can do a deal where we take this little scamming situation that you have and make it this multi-million billion dollar corporation that has many different companies all over the world, all over the country. He wants to basically take what she's doing, her scheme, and do it on a larger, bigger scale. He's like, in that situation, you get what you want, You get to make billions and I get what I want. I get to make money too. So we both get to make money. It's a win-win. And she's like, what about the diamonds? He's like, we could do halvesies. We don't care about the diamonds. The diamonds is not even going to amount to the amount of money that we're gonna make together. So she agrees and they basically go into business. And this is when they go into the future and they show that this ends up being a huge success. She's basically a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. She has a lot of money. She's rich, filthy rich. Basically, she got what she wanted in the end. She ends up being this rich person who has so much money that she could throw her weight around, do whatever she wants to do, control whoever she wants to control, because she's manipulative and quite frankly evil. She tries to act like she cares because she has some feelings for Francis, but if you're able to just without any conscience treat a vulnerable population like that, just over anybody and not have a care in the world, you have issues. Something's wrong with you. You may be a sociopath. She called her mother a sociopath. Well, I think she birthed one. This is where it comes back full circle. After she does his press release, because of course her business is blowing up, because she has the gift of gab. She knows how to talk a good game. That's a skill that she has. She does his press release. She's walking outside with her boo Francis. Mr. Feldstorm from the beginning of the movie is waiting for her. He walks up to her, calls her out her name. She turns around and she's about to respond with something smart. Mr. Feldstorm was like, you gotta go because my mom died and I never got to see her because of you. You gotta go. He was not having it and I couldn't be mad at him. He shoots her and he kills her. It's karma. It's the universe doing its job. I didn't feel bad at all, honestly, because you did so much stuff. In the end of the movie, she's talking about, are you a lion or are you the prey? She says that she's a lioness, which I think also speaks back into the gender role situation that she speaks about in the movie. She's like, I'm not a lion. A lion is male. I'm a lioness because I'm a female, but I'm still strong and I'm powerful and I still get the job done. I do what I have to do, but not in that way, honey. Not in that way. She's a lioness and she does what she has to do for people that she cares about. Like, if that excuses her behavior, like if it makes it right that she just fucked over all of these people, that she took advantage of all of these people to use her wealth to further disadvantage people, to throw her weight around. I don't know. I was like, girl, you're really delusional. You think you're a good person, but you're not, and you never were, and that's why you had to go. When she was talking about, are you the predator or the prey, the interesting part about this movie is that it was both for her. She was the predator, but she was also the prey, and that's why she ended up getting her life taken. Because oftentimes when you're a predator, because of all of the shenanigans that you do, it puts your life at risk. And honestly and truly, I didn't really understand why she thought that she was going to get away scot-free. Once you get to that level in life, you should have had so much security. You've done so much to so many people. Why didn't you have security, girl? That was so weird. But anyway, I think the movie was cool, but could it have been better? I think so, but it wasn't bad at all. Trust me, it wasn't a bad movie. I think there was some potential for growth. They definitely could have made some of the scenes more realistic, to me, in my opinion. I felt like Marla got what she deserved. Let me know your thoughts down below. Please don't forget to like this video. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos like this. Reactions, reviews, beauty, lifestyle, social political commentary, all the above. You can find that on my channel. So go ahead and subscribe. Turn those post notifications on, and thank you so much for watching this video. You could have been watching anybody else on this platform, but you decided to watch me, and I greatly appreciate that. Bye.
We should take our clothes off. We should get it on. We could get it poppin'. We could get it some.